So when I originally bought the house, I house hacked before I even knew what it was. So I just had roommates help me with my mortgage. So
and by help you
pay the mortgage.
pay
Yes. So the first year I had 2 roommates. The second year I had 1 roommate. And I just saw the power of that, like living rent free pretty much. And so when I moved, it was no question of I wanted to continue this and make a profit. I knew it had so much potential. So. So I was born in Teaneck and I moved here when I was 9. So I've been in Atlanta from 9 till 25.
Yeah.
And then last year I got married and moved to Columbus, Indiana.
Were you worried about anything in the pandemic?
Yes, I was. I was worried that in the pandemic, I wouldn't know what was going to happen, what would change in the neighborhood, if people would want to do Airbnb, people would want to rent. I didn't know what was going to happen. So my thought process was, I'm going to try this. And if it doesn't work in 6 months, I'll change. And if it does work, I'll continue or try to refine as I go. So
When you said, if it doesn't work in 6 months, I'll change, did anybody teach you there were more options? Like, how'd you know that there was more things that you could do?
I think I just have a mentality of, we're gonna make this work. My parents are Jamaican, and so I just come from this like, there's find a way to win. My parents always said that, find a way to win. So I knew that there was a way to win. Just a matter of how we're gonna get to that point, but yeah. So originally I was doing Airbnb for the first 6 months and it wasn't as profitable. So that's when I had to come to that decision of, am I going to continue with Airbnb or am I going to move forward to a long-term renter? And I'm an analyst in the job that I do right now. So I thought of it in like a business perspective, like how are we going to make these numbers work so that I'm making profit and like not take it personally, or I really, really wanted to continue with Airbnb, but for my house, it just wasn't working. So I decided to move it to a long-term renter and actually sat down with Erica and talked about what those numbers would have to be for it to work, and then just started finding renters, and I found someone and she was great. So I didn't start off with a long-term renter as opposed to Airbnb because I thought Airbnb would be more profitable. And then 2, I moved with my husband to Indiana and he already had an apartment full of stuff and my home was full of stuff. So I think it's beautifully furnished. So why not just have someone move into that environment in like an Airbnb run environment rather than selling all my furniture or potentially moving with a renter completely furnished. So with the furniture in there, I was like, it's already kind of staged for Airbnb. Why don't I just keep it like that? Yeah. That was my idea at the beginning.
What were some of the most expensive pieces of knowledge that you've learned doing real estate stuff on your own?
So when I bought the property, there were a lot of things wrong in the inspection. And I was so excited about the property itself. I fell in love that I was like, oh, it's fine. You know, I'll work it out. And a lot of things I got the owner to fix, but there were a lot of things wrong with it that I had to fix later on in the line. For instance, the electrical wiring was completely wrong. And so in the past 3 months, I got a call from my renter saying, the fire truck is at your house. Your breaker blew and the whole house needs to be rewired. If I was aware of that and knew the cost of it before buying the house, I would have at least counted the cost before saying yes. rather than like letting the emotion of me loving the house supersede that. So I think all of my fears can be summed up into when something goes wrong with the house or if someone damages it, I am not there to fix it. I don't have control, and I can't just walk to the house and say, okay, what's going on? So Erica walked me through that I need to set up systems to address issues that may go on in the house. And so that was the way we like addressed the fears I had. So after we put the systems in place, it alleviated my fears because I saw piece by piece how the systems are going to take care of the house, or allow the house to be taken care of. And it doesn't have to be solely my responsibility. So like just a more sustainable process, basically. So if I didn't have those systems in place and things went completely haywire, I would just be racking up miles and flying here every second. A renter had an issue every second, the grass wasn't cut or anything, I would be flying down and trying to resolve it myself, and that's just not sustainable.
If I didn't have this, I'd be flying back and forth now, right? Or are you spending 50 hours in a week on real estate stuff?
I typically spend 2 hours a month for real estate investing. Essentially, my renters pay their rent through a property management system that Erica recommended. If they have any issues or anything that's gone wrong, they submit a ticket through that service. And then I'll send someone out. I'll call a handyman, I'll call an electrician, I'll call whoever needs to be. And then other than that, I love to do my numbers, checking up on everything and just tracking everything for tax season.
When you started on your journey and you moved out of state to do this, did you ever think that you would be here spending 2 hours a month and making that kind of a return on 2 hours of work per month?
No, I did not think that it's possible to make this amount of return on such little work. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful for Erica, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to own real estate. I think that's a real privilege. Like I said, like my parents are Jamaican, they came here for a better life, and it's an opportunity to be able to own real estate and invest in this way and wealth for my family. So, yeah.
If you could talk to Lloyd at 23 years old with the knowledge that you have now, the expensive knowledge you have right now, what would you tell him?
I would say, Lloyd, do your thing. Go forward.